You mentioned that you're perfectionists as writers. Do you look back at the production of Ups and Downsizing and think, well, we could have changed this or that could have been better, or certain things could have needed tweaking?
I used to be like that with our records. I would listen to it and be like, oh, I wish I could have changed that vocal line or redone that guitar line or taken this whole song out and put a different song in, things like that. But now I kind of look at the recording process as a really organic, amazing thing, and almost like a timeline, like a scrapbook. I can look back on January 2009 when we recorded the album and say, that was that point in my life, and that's exactly what we did on purpose for a reason. So when I listen to the record, I'm like, okay, that was that. Great, time for the next record. If we want to keep going back and changing things, I don't think it would ever stop. I'd keep finding things that I wanted differently. But I think that as a record, it flows really, really well. I really like that about Ups and Downsizing. It was pretty much written in that order on purpose. But the one thing that I'd like to do for the next record is kind of have more of a cohesive sound and not so much of a, well, this song's a slower, big rock pop jam, and this one's a fast punk song, and this one's I'd rather have I've always wanted to make a 10-song, 30-minute record, because there's so many bands that have done that. Like Against Me's, I think New Wave was like that, and Weezer's Pinkerton. There's so many records that are 10 songs, 30 minutes, and they're just perfect, no filler. That's been one of my goals, but at the same time, it could be a 16-song punk rock record. Who knows at this point? We have a bunch of stuff floating around.
And you're back in America on the Warped Tour over summer. Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, it's going to be our first tour ever on a tour bus, so no driving for us, just sleeping. Hopefully it's comfortable and not too hot outside the whole time. Hopefully we have some shady days, because I heard it gets really brutal out there.
So you've never been out on Warped before then?
Only for about a week, 5 years ago. We were really young. First tour. Yeah, first tour ever, and we drove and didn't know what we were doing, and we were tired and sunburnt, and it was great though. It was a great learning experience. But this will be, we're a little bit more established now, and it'll be great.
I've heard from other bands that about the horrors of Warped Tour. Are you fully prepared for that yet, or what?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think it could be any harder than our first couple of tours where we were making zero money and zero people were coming to see our band. So the fact that there will be kids there and there will be money to be made and fans to be made and friends to be made, that's going to make it for us. So no matter how hot and hard it is, we're still going to get free water and fed every day and a place to sleep, and that's all I need. So I'm excited for that. And playing outside will be refreshing. Maybe not sweat to death every night. It'll be good.
Another cool thing too, since our first tour was Warped Tour, like that, like the 6 or 7 day thing we did, it was kind of like a boot camp where, like, you get up at 8 in the morning, you set up your tent, you promote literally all day until the second you play, tear down your stuff, and then sell your merch. And literally the whole day, you're constantly promoting yourselves. It's crazy. And then it's like, if we could do that on our first tour with a van, like not even like a trailer, just a van only, like it just made normal touring that much easier for us, because we're like, oh, you could sit inside. So now it's going to be like, kind of full circle where we're doing like, the first half of Warped Tour on an actual bus, and we have all this great stuff going on. So it'll be a lot nicer, I think.
And what can people expect next from the Swellers?
More touring and another record.
And a video.
And oh yeah, we're gonna make a video, right? Yeah, we're gonna make another music video. And because the last one was for Fire Away, and it was super, super serious and pretty intense, and like we looked like total badasses. But the video we've made in the past, the old one for a song called Bottles, was a lot more fun and lighthearted. And I think we want to go along that line. I think we're doing it for Sleeper, so that's a pretty cool poppy, upbeat number. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it turns out all right, but I know it will, because we're ridiculous and the people we work with are a lot of fun.
When can people expect to see you back in the UK?
We're going to try to come as often as we can, so hoping at least one more time by the year's end. That'll be that's my goal anyway, at least.
Have you been offered any of the the festivals over the summer?
Yeah, we heard about Reading and Leeds, and we're actually trying to get on those. I don't know what the chances are, but it'd be great if we could come back sooner than we thought. That'd be a lot of fun, because I've heard great things.
Not into the camera.
Yeah, hook it up.
If the fest people are watching this, we would like to be on it, please.
Yeah.
A very good band for the lock-up stage, I would say.
Yeah, that's what we're trying for.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
And why should someone come and see you guys live? What is your initial appeal?
I never really knew how to answer that question because we were just dudes who get on stage and play some songs and hope you dig them and see you later. That was it. But it was actually in Europe. A kid walked up to me and he actually said, I really, really liked your band. It was great. And I was like, thanks, man. Appreciate it. But he said, I believe you. He's like, everything that you say, I believe what you're saying. All these other pop punk bands, punk rock bands, I love them, but I don't really believe what they're saying. And I kind of stopped and I thought about it and I was like, man, oh, wow. Like, I guess I have been telling the truth. I'm glad that you believe me. Everything that we sing about is just real. Like, it's real life stuff. And when you have all these bands just singing about, you know, oh, this is family, this is, you know, we're overcoming everything. It's like, dude, we're from the suburbs. So are you. You know, there's nothing to overcome. We're rich white people in the grand scheme of the world. You know, there's people starving and dying. Like, there's nothing to overcome there. So when we just sing about things that happen, real life things, and we're not saying life is such a bummer and we need to, like, overcome everything. It's just, you know, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, keep your head up. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. There's not that big of a problem going on. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that's what kind of sets us aside. And it wasn't intentional. And, you know, in the future, I'm not going to brag about that. It's just how we are. So I was really happy to hear that compliment. I took it as a compliment. Probably the best thing I've ever heard from somebody.
And we really focus on, you know, our sound too. Like, we don't really practice much, but we all pride ourselves in, you know, being solid musicians. And we're not like a stage banter band. Like, you know, if we're doing like a headlining or a longer set, you know, maybe we'll have fun with the crowd and talk a little bit, but we're not one of those bands that just go on and on in between songs. Like, we've done tours where we didn't talk. Like, Nick would be like, and after the third song, go, hi, we're the Swellers, thanks. And that was it, you know? Yeah. So, like, I think that's another cool thing, too. We're about the music. We're not, and about the performance. We're not mainly about, like, oh, like, it's Cindy's birthday today. Let's sing happy birthday. You know, like, just the dumb little kid stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of neon colors and stupid clothes and hair in the scene right now, and I think it's a lot of bands are kind of like the Backstreet Boys for older girls. Like, you know, they grew up, so they need guitars now. That's what it is.
But now they're changing, so they're all wearing like darker clothes out of nowhere, and we're like, come on.
Yeah, all these crappy bands are starting to wear like grunge-looking clothes. Don't take my music away from me. Don't start dressing and sounding like Nirvana, because you're gonna suck at it, and that's my job. Thank you. That's my message to everybody.
I was just going to say, have you got any messages for your fans out there, or perhaps anyone that hasn't heard of the Swellers before?
Oh, just thanks for listening to us if you have. And if you bought our record or came to a show or will come to a show, that's awesome. That's why we do what we do. Otherwise, I wouldn't have anything. I'd probably be going to school not knowing what I wanted to do with my life still.
Wasting money.
Wasting money.
And our record just came out in the UK for the first time ever. So if people buy that, that would be awesome. And check the Swellers.com. We have a bunch of like tour blogs and videos and stuff. We always like constantly like keep people updated with what we're doing. So check us out on there too.
And 9/11 was an inside job.